All right, friends, we need to cover what's going down in North Carolina. A whole bunch of you guys have stepped up already. Super appreciated. A lot of people need help, and we're trying to get them the help that they need. We got some details on that. Also, we have apparently the charges against Donald Trump look like the criminal charges may be getting dropped. We got the latest on that and kind of why that's happening. The UK Parliament is trying to summon Elon Musk, and Elon Musk is looking at trying to summon the UK Parliament to the United States Congress in retaliation. We got protests out there by the UK farmers. We got the latest on that. We got a whole bunch of other reports. We got an update on the Toms of Maine toothpaste recall, some more information on that, and some very concerning information from Dollar General. Lots of reports from you guys, and a concerning update on how food banks are being abused right now inside the United States by migrants. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in from all over to let us know what you guys are seeing on the ground, what's actually going on out there to keep you on the cutting edge of everything that's going on. If you have an update, please do share that with us by using the word update somewhere in your comment. That gets it to the right place, and a geographical location if it's relevant to your comment, okay? Thanks so much for that, guys. We do want to thank our sponsor. Before we get into everything, Genesis Gold Group, fantastic people over there that are walking our folks and folks around the country through a process of moving some of their assets or all of their assets out of retirement accounts and stocks and bonds and risky things over into stable things like gold, silver, and platinum. If you want to find out more how you can do that, there'll be a link at the end of the video. All right, folks, this is from Unicorn Purple. And we're going to get into this about North Carolina here. Update, emergency need for heaters and adapters and hoses for families still intense in North Carolina. Deep River Farm on YouTube is covering this and has put out the request for assistance. Please consider sending them directly to Pastor Tim Clark at Bethel Wesleyan Church, 901 Tracy Grove Road, Flat Rock, North Carolina, 28731. Pinned comment down below will have the address. Look at how you're shipping it. If you're ordering off Amazon and sending it to that address, make sure that you confirm the address in your deliveries so it doesn't end up at your house. It ends up there instead. Pinned comments will show you what to get. We need hoses. We need the right kind of hoses and that are resistant to leaching oil. And hoses as well as the heaters. We're looking at buddy heaters. We need propane heaters. Electric's not going to help here. A lot of these folks don't have electricity, so propane heaters. They're moving 20-pound propane tanks around, so that is definitely the way to go with that. The need is very great down there. We talked about that yesterday, and we're going to continue talking about it to make sure that that everyone who has needs down there are getting taken care of. We can't depend on the government to do this because they're totally AWOL. Totally AWOL. This is up to us, friends. So let's step up and do the best we can. I'm stepping up. Hopefully you guys do as well. All right, the Department of Justice has just filed a proposal to break up Google. This is big news out there. So Google owns YouTube, Google Search, a whole bunch of other things, and they also own Chrome browser. So if you have the Chrome browser, that's why it has Google embedded into it. The Department of Justice has filed a proposal to force them to sell the Chrome browser into a separate company. Break it up like the telecom companies in the past, or U.S. Steel or U.S. Oil, right? They're being considered as monopolistic, and it's going to be going before a judge early next year to make a decision on whether Google has to split up like that and whether that's a sufficient. But since the government is requesting them split off Chrome, that seems to be agreeable to the government, at least the current government. We may see that change when the new administration comes in. They may require Google sell off more assets like YouTube and such. That would be interesting. Trump's criminal case looks like it's going to be dismissed shortly. We're hoping, but Judge Merchan has authorized the Trump legal team to file their formal motion to dismiss. So he's been convicted, but they may get this case dismissed. You can just imagine how people on the left are going to not react well to this news. So they have to file the paperwork in the next several weeks here, and we're going to be hearing whether the motion of dismissal has been accepted. The Attorney General Bragg has basically such an appropriate name, has filed for a long-term suspension of the sentencing, but that's just unprecedented. They may just waive the charges and dismiss the case entirely. The current nominee for Deputy Attorney General, his name is Todd Blanche, has demanded the case be tossed. He's actually one of the Donald Trump's attorneys on this. He said this, November 5th, 2024, the nation's people issued a mandate that supersedes the political motivations of the District Attorney of New York's people. Because, like whenever the government files something, it's always like the people versus so-and-so. Well, he's saying basically the nation's people supersede the District of New York's people, right? And that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? And also, he says that the case must be immediately dismissed. And he also cited the Presidential Transition Act of 1963 as precedent there too, for the legal basis of this. Basically, he can't transition into a presidency with some court somewhere hanging a sentencing over his head, and even if they try to send him to prison or something like that, he can't transition into the office of the presidency. This is absurd. The case needs to be dismissed. Speaking of legal stuff happening, MPs, or basically the equivalent of congressmen over in the UK, the parliaments there, has chosen to try to summon Elon Musk. That's not going to go so well, to testify about X's role in the UK summer riots. Yeah. Elon Musk is going to come back with something, all right. They're doing a Commons inquiry into the rise of harmful content on social media, and they're also expected to call Meta and TikTok executives. Elon Musk has basically told them to go take a hike, and his response to this was, they will be summoned. the people in Parliament of the UK, they will be summoned to the United States to explain their censorship and their threats to American citizens. Well, that could get interesting. With their government trying to subpoena and summon American citizens, and the American government summoning their government officials to the United States for hearings. This could get interesting. Speaking of the UK, interesting things afoot there. This week, farmers in the UK have been protesting by mass protests, dumping garbage with equipment on government buildings and courtyards, blasting fertilizer and such on government buildings as well. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people, whole bunch of tractors downtown London, causing all sorts of mayhem. We will keep you up to date with further rounds of things. I think basically this is going to be one of those things where they do it and see if there's a response from the government. And if the government doesn't back off from putting these new taxes onto farmers, then the farmers are going to, level it up and go again. And we're going to be seeing that kind of continuing on. So far, we haven't heard effects on the UK store shelves, grocery stores and such, but that's not being reported by the media, the government, the media. Basically, I repeat myself, right? Anyway, so if you're in the UK and you're seeing effects on your store shelves, let us know down in the comments with you an update, please. Scotty Pups says, just so folks know, Tom's of Maine was bought out by Colgate. The concentration of these companies is absolutely ridiculous. You go into a grocery store and you see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of brands. But basically all of these brands are owned by like 12 companies. Like you look at like toothpaste and you see like 6 different or 20 different kinds of toothpaste with like 6 different brands, but usually it's often owned by 2 different companies. Usually 1 or 2 companies owns all those different brands. You see this, it's ridiculous with the baby food. You see this with other products where it's just like 1 or 2 companies owns all of the brands that are sitting there. It's ridiculous. And these companies do not have our best interests at heart, that's for sure. Judy says, Johnson City, Tennessee, my mechanic told me one of the costs in the business, we talked about why it's going up, auto repair, is getting, the companies are getting patents on their parts. So they're getting a patent on their part that's actually going into their car so that nobody can create copies of it. Then they raise the prices. $50 now for an oil change. It used to be $15. It used to be $15 was expensive. Chaz says, our Hendersonville, Tennessee Walmart has condensed the soup aisle dramatically. Last week, chunky soup had about 10 feet all to itself. But when I went this week, they had moved the broth, progressive soup, chunky soup, Campbell's soup, and GV brand soup all into the same 10 to 12 foot section. So major consolidation. Being that we are in the soup season, this doesn't seem to make a great deal of sense. But then again, it makes perfect sense, right? They want to get us off of real food. They want to get us into frozen food. They want to get us just-in-time, industrially prepared food. I'm not saying that the canned soup is like the best stuff in the world, but it's a whole lot better than the snack food aisle, right? It's a lot better than some of the other stuff that they have for us, which they are pushing us into. They want us all on junk food, and they want to make it so that we need more and more medical interventions and medications. That's why they're sticking the medications already in our food. It's crazy. Diamond says, Walmart in Brookings, South Dakota, completely out of organic whole milk, and this is the 4th week in a row now. I asked if I could speak to the dairy manager or basically anybody in dairy and was told nobody was in the store. Yeah, organic milk is really hard to come by right now. A lot of people saying that across the United States. Sir Gregor says, Lebanon, Indiana, Walmart store. Many of the canned tomato products such as tomato paste, diced tomato, and tomato sauce are low. GV and Red Gold brand products are out, and only a few cans of Hunt's left in larger cans. Arlene says, I picked up medicine at the Rite Aid in West Reading, Pennsylvania. Shelves had 1 or 2 each of shampoo, deodorant. I asked if they were going out of business. He said no, they are just waiting on a delivery. It has looked like that every month for the past 3 months. That's a Rite Aid in Reading, Pennsylvania. Joan says Kleenex, puffs, and yes, toilet paper have become flimsy and smaller in size. Antacids like Mylanta are weaker, and if you eat too much of the store-bought foods, I have to use an antacid at night. It's crazy how that works. When they have fake food, our bodies don't like it. Can't imagine how that works, right? These corporations aren't fooling anyone, and eventually we will all see through these issues. If our country ever gets straightened out, we must remember those who have tried to fool us and to stop buying their products. Now we're hearing alarming results on the cheaply priced turkeys. A few who are going away for Thanksgiving decided to roast their turkeys this past weekend. On the label it read, so tender you can cut the meat with a fork. To their horror, the meat was like mush, and they couldn't even get a slice out of it. The games continue. Jessica says, in southern Mississippi, Dollar General, delivery truck parked by my door, refrigerated items, milk parked by their door, refrigerated items like milk, ice cream, dairy items, frozen dinners unloaded and sitting in the sun for, timed by me, 18 minutes before someone opened the door. No way of knowing what happened after that, except that after I shopped, I saw all of it stacked in front of the coolers, waiting for someone to put it away. I shopped for at least 20 minutes at least. So if that was outside for 40 minutes outside of refrigeration, that's a problem. I saw several ground beef packages still in date, but swollen and almost breaking, but still for sale. This is a Dollar General, friends. Meat that gets warm. When it gets warm, it gives off gas, and then it gets recooled. Dollar General is off my cold foods vendor list. But you know, there's going to be some good stores. There's going to be some bad stores. It's all about the management and the workers. But that is definitely concerning if you're seeing that kind of stuff with food handling. And like I said, there's good stores and there's bad stores with all of these chains. Well, not all of these chains. Some chains are better at their making sure that policies are followed and everything, but other chains are not so good. B. Rich says, update in Central Ohio. It's B as in like a bumblebee. Anyway, in Central Ohio, most stores are pretty well stocked. The aisles have changed the amount of each product, but I can usually find what I need. Some products are fronted, but others just have a smaller spot on the shelves. If I was not aware of the shipping problems, I probably wouldn't know. Apple cider is really highly priced. The whole store of Aldi's has been rearranged down the middle of the store. There are 2 full aisles from front to back of the entire store filled with non-food items and Christmas products. Things don't seem too bad except for the prices. You can rarely get out of the store for less than $100. I don't know how some people can eat today. There is no reason everything has to be doubled in price at the very least. Some things are triple the price now. And this is a report from Texas Steader about what's going on with the food pantries, and very concerning. Texas Steader, who is a Texas rancher here. This is not my typical update. Twice a month I do drop off of beef, pork, etc. at a small grocery in an affluent part of the city. While there, I pick up a trailer of spoiled food from the local food bank to feed my pigs going back. This is usually just fruit and veg that's turning and moldy bread and such that no one can eat. However, for the first time in 5 years doing pickup, I noticed that a rising percentage of the migrants are migrants and less than elderly. But the most surprising part was nearly a block away, people were holding up signs in Spanish saying free food, diapers, no ID required. They're funneling them to the food bank. While there, I mentioned to the manager of the bank, she said, we can't stop the signs and we're running out of food for the elderly citizens here in our area. That is deeply concerning. I'm not sure how widespread that is, but if you're working for a food bank, are you seeing government agencies, nonprofits, these activists basically trying to funnel these migrants to the food banks because so that they take basically all the food and then the elderly and the folks, the citizens of the U.S. can't get food from the food banks when they desperately need it? Let me know if you're seeing that down in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold about what you can do with a retirement account, there's a link right there. If you're looking to get some of the buddy heaters to send to North Carolina down here, make sure you ship them to the church, right? Make sure you ship them to the church, not to your home, and then to the church. We want to get them there as quickly as possible. And if you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.